What's up, everybody? Welcome back to ACES Conference, the podcast. I am Justin, and I am always here with my good friend, Tim. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Justin. How's it going?
I'm good. Tim, we have a guest today.
Oh, thank God. Take some of the pressure off me.
Right? So we'll stop talking, and we're happy to introduce from Winnipeg, AJ Potrebka. Did I get it right? Oh, look, there he is.
I was here the whole time.
Oh, look at that. He was here the whole time. The audio listeners are like, what the hell?
Yeah, listening to this. It's funnier on video. And Justin, you nailed the last name. You got it, man.
Awesome. Hashtag nailed it.
Practice makes perfect.
There you go.
Hey, Justin, do you know how AJ and I met?
ACES conference?
Donut?
Oh, you met in Donut? Really? That's 2 for 2. Because I met AJ.
I think that's true.
I met AJ at the ACES conference last year over a burrito.
True. Over a burrito, which is really the best way to meet somebody. Once you've shared a burrito with somebody, you're friends for life after that point.
You make it sound like we Lady and the Tramped the burrito. We didn't share. we both had individual burritos.
That's true.
Nope.
Yeah.
Forever now, that's my mental picture. Thanks a lot.
But there's always Atlanta. There's always Atlanta.
They're better burritos. So wait. So now the question. Now I pose the question to you, the audience. What's better, burritos or donuts? All right, AJ.
Depends on the time of day. Wait.
What?
Do you know how AJ and I met in person?
Over a donut?
No, he was walking through the hallway, or walking through the hotel lobby, and I was like, AJ? And then we sat and had...
You mean that thing you do?
Yeah. It was that hallway track.
Was that hallway track you did?
I opened up my laptop, and Tim said, okay, there's another guy who looks like he could be in IT and has glasses and is opening a laptop. He's got to be here for ACES. He's got to be here.
If you have a Mac laptop with a bunch of stickers on the back of it, you're more than likely here for ACES. You know what would be really weird is if they weren't.
It was the Winnipeg Jets sticker that was the giveaway.
Oh, I see.
I have none of these things. Because when people are going to ask me Jets questions, and I'll be like, yeah, hockey. Hockey, yes. Ice stick.
Oh, that's a hockey team?
Wait.
Yeah, let's just say this.
AJ, I have a question for you. In Canada, did they have the show After MASH? Did I just get a spit take? Did I just get Tim to do a spit take? That was awesome.
You know what? I don't know. It may have been in Canada. But, we get everything 25 years later than you guys. So
it's on the air now.
Apple Card might be here one day. Maybe, I don't know.
We'll see what happens. All right, so enough playing. I'm glad that we're all here together. I'm glad we're all going to see each other in Atlanta. But let's talk real important things. So Tim, my question for you for this episode is: do you like money?
Yes.
AJ, do you like money?
Think about it.
I like money. Yeah, money gets me the things that I really, really like. So I like money.
So we're here to talk about how to make more money. So AJ, why don't we now that we're going through all the funny parts, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience who may not know you, may not have had a burrito or a donut with you, and tell everybody like who you are, the business you're running, and something interesting about yourself.
Oh, I should have come prepared. I knew that one was coming. So my name's AJ Potrebka. I am the principal consultant, which is the title I gave myself because it's my business, so I can do that here at Campfire Technology Group. And picking titles is hard. I know most people listening to this, I'm sure, are going to have had that thought about what the hell do I put on a business card. But yeah, here at Campfire, we're an Apple-flavored MSP, we like to call it, where we're a managed service provider, but we lead with Apple, which means we try to stick to workplace technology, so we don't do, at least yet, web development, application development, things like that. We focus on building a strong workplace technology infrastructure platform. That's what we do. We're a team of 3 plus, well, technically 4 people, 1 admin, 2 tech, and then whatever I do. So tech plus sales, marketing, ACES podcast, whatever comes up. Yeah, chief cook and bottle washer.
There you go.
And we are proudly located here in sunny Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, as Justin said. I think you said.
That's a lot of words. Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada?
Canada. Yeah, it's just like New York, United States, or Seattle, Washington, United States. We're in Winnipeg.
Those words make sense.
Home of the Jets.
Then people are watching, and then they see the picture that says Atlanta in the corner, and they're like, "No, I didn't hear any of those words."
No,
we'll all be in Atlanta for ACES Conf 2020.
May 19th and 20th. There you go.
May 19th and 20th. Be there or be square.
So you were into ACES last year. What do you think was a great takeaway for you that's kind of helped you with your business this year?
Great question. You know what? Okay, so I also glossed over anything interesting about myself, which we skipped. There's nothing interesting, honestly. There's nothing to gloss over. I don't know. We like to say that we live in a zoo because we have 2 cats, a dog, and 2 geckos, and unfortunately just lost a gecko and a fish at home. But that's our claim to fame at home is we live in the Tamara and AJ's zoo. So my wife and me. So that's interesting, I guess, to some people. Yeah.
Sure. All right, but so now don't gloss over the real question, which is what was your takeaway from last year? That's more important.
It was that he got to spend time with Tim Pearson.
That's everybody's goal for ACES.
I will actually turn that into a real answer for a little bit because you can't totally you cannot underestimate the value of the hallway track and the roundtable sessions, which I think was really unique about ACES conference, and I know has been brought up on the podcast before. But it's so valuable to get things out of your head and start talking and having conversations in all kinds of problem solving. But hey, I've run into this thing in my business, or hey, I'm trying to solve this problem that has to do with making money or growing my business or marketing myself or whatever. And just the power of getting around a table with people who have been there and or maybe haven't been there, but can just provide another viewpoint on it is super valuable. So as much as Tim was, totally playing himself up there saying him is the reason you go to ACES Conf, you totally can't underestimate the hallway track or the roundtable track. I think thinking back to Brian and Brian Best, his presentation about weeding the client garden kind of, and reviewing your clients and making sure that you're actually making money and making sure that people are happy. Just bringing that back has been really helpful. And I think it's just, that's one that's really stuck with me from this time. So good job, Brian. Because we will, golf claps here, people. Making people happy is what it's all about. And I'll say that, we're here to talk about making money, right? And we're here because we want to make money, or else we would be running, we're not running nonprofit organizations here. But just making sure that your clients, the people that you're actually serving, are happy. I don't know, Tim, you look like hopefully you're making money. You looked a little exasperated when I said that, but
some days I think it feels like maybe we are running nonprofits. But
I don't know. I have a nonprofit that makes a lot of money. I think people underestimate how much money nonprofits really make. They just don't want to spend anything. There's a difference.
Well, they generally, nonprofits, unlike some for-profit businesses, generally, I mean, it really depends on the kind of nonprofit where you are and what you're doing, but they generally know that they're going to get money, unlike all of us in the for-profit business, where depending on your funding model, you might get a chunk of change or whatever. They're all different. But
I think we should reverse the names, like fiction and nonfiction. Like it should be like what we do should be nonprofit because we don't make money, and the nonprofits should be profit because they just get money.
No comment. Yeah. So I mean, the big takeaway for us is making people happy and making sure that people are happy, and using process as a way to make sure that people are happy, and thinking back to, Will O'Neill's conversation about marketing and marketing yourself. Well, you can't make anybody happy if they don't know who you are. So if they don't know who you are, how are you going to make anybody happy, and how are you going to get paid? So those are two things that I kind of took away from that. And yeah, it was a really great conference. The amount of stuff jam packed into, was it 2 days? It feels like it was like 5 days of stuff.
Yeah.
And spending that much time with Justin kind of felt like a really long time.
You guys kid around about that, but nobody sees me for those 2 days. Like, you see me on stage, and then I hide.
It's true. He's like the Flash. You just see like little glimpses of Justin in different parts of the room.
Tim, what was your big takeaway from last year?
You knew this one was coming, Tim.
I really didn't. I hadn't even thought about it. I think, I mean, my takeaway is kind of the same every year, is that it's a recharge and a refocus. A lot of times there's new ideas, and sometimes there's ideas that I've heard and I've just thought, oh God, I need to implement that. Geez, I really need to do this. And to have the time talk with other people and see what's going on and hear how people are doing stuff. And the presentations where people are talking about what they're doing and stuff. And I agree with AJ. Brian's talk where he was talking about, like, does this make me happy working for this person? And if this person doesn't make me happy, like, what am I doing? What are we doing here?
Right.
I mean, that was pretty big. And
Brian's awesome.
Not that it's, I mean, and we've talked about that a lot. I think I don't know. I talk to you, feels like every freaking day. So I don't know what.
Who, me?
On a podcast. Yeah, you.
We do talk every day. I don't know why,
Okay.
but we talk every day, whether we're recording or not.
Yeah,
It gets to a point.
Well,
and it gets to the point where you almost have to. Sorry, there's a bit of a delay, but it gets to the point where you almost have to, like, Marie Kondo method your clients, right?
Ooh, I like
where
that.
it's just
Yeah.
like, and fortunately, does this client spark joy, or does this relationship spark joy, or do we? And I think this is a big thing where you have to be really real with yourself too. Is, do we spark joy for them? Saying, if we're actually not doing as good a job for them as they could be getting somewhere else because it's not the right fit, for whatever reason, not because we're not professional, but maybe it's a location thing, maybe it's a size thing, an hours. I generally don't do a lot of retail for the reason that I don't want to work retail hours. And there are people who want to work retail hours, and that's great. But I am going to be grumpy, and you're not going to get my best because I've already put in a full week during business hours. So if you call me at, like, I don't know, a Sunday morning at 9 because you're trying to open the store, you're not getting my best, right? You'd be better suited to somebody who's built for that. So do we spark joy for our customers as important as do they spark joy for us? I think, because sooner or later the other shoe's going to drop, and they're going to say, hey, we're finding somebody else. So
I think that also goes beyond. I think that also goes beyond what we do. I kind of like the way this is going to go, but, like, it goes beyond fixing their computer, right? Like, because you can spark joy in just having personal conversations with people. Like, I think IT is 90% psychological and 10% actually fixing the problem. Because, like, so many of the times, if someone comes into the office and they're having a bad day, the computer knows that, right? Like, somehow or other, the computer knows that person's having a bad day, right? And, like, nothing will work for that person. And they call you. What are you going to do? You're going to fix their problem. You're going to try to help them. And then you're going to say, how are you? And they're going to go, crappy. And you're going to be like, what's wrong? And so, if it's giving them advice about their relationship or telling them how to fix their toaster or whatever and fixing their computer, now you're bringing them even more joy. Because I really think there's so much more. And this goes into the social media thing. We talk a lot about this in Slack also, that, like, that person-to-person connection more than IT consultant person like us to computer connection, I think goes a much longer way than just, I think the person-to-person connection goes much further than the IT consultant to computer way.
I think 100%. So too. And I'll just steal this from Tim, but I mean, this is something that's always stuck from me from when we talked about it, was that you said, Tim, that your job is like 50% bartender and 50% IT consultant, but it really feels like that, right? And especially as you're
Yeah.
there, you're working on somebody's computer. If that's your role in the organization, you're there, you're chatting with people, and you're waiting for something to install. Well, you're just sitting there waiting. You get to chatting. Hey, how are things? And I think for us in technology, because we're working with a lot of businesses and we work with a lot of business owners, and in a lot of cases, we're also business owners. You can have a human to human chat, but you can have an IT professional to client chat. You can have a business owner to business owner chat. And all of these things are really valuable. And for our business community, we all have to stick together as small businesses too. And I think that's something that a lot of us empathize with when we're working with our small business clients.
Tim, how often are you having conversations with Tim? How often are you having conversations with, like, when you're waiting for something to install? Are you talking to your other business owners about wine?
Daily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I do, right? I mean, if I
drink wine?
If I'm, no, but
this is a safe space here, Tim.
Hi, Mom. No, but I think that most of my time when I'm on site is talking to somebody. It's usually not doing something. It's like AJ said, there's a quick minute or two while you push a couple buttons, and then it's like, all right, we got 15 minutes. What are we going to talk about? And so, yeah, you've got all these different levels of people, and it's hard to do because, we're technical people. We're not, by nature, most technical people are the kids that, I don't know. I mean, I'm older than you guys. When I was a kid, if you were one of those tech nerdy guys, like, you were the kids in the corner getting beat up, right? Like, we weren't very outgoing. We didn't talk to people. Now it's cool. It's hip to be the tech people. Zuckerberg changed the world. Whatever. Anyway, I think that
he's not cool.
You young generation, it's
you know
cool
who's
to be a nerd.
No, you know who's cool?
It's cool to be a nerd now.
You know who's cool? Tom from MySpace. Right. That guy's cool.
AJ,
what's MySpace? I've never heard of MySpace.
You guys don't have that in Canada.
They
but
do,
no,
we never had that when I was on the
It costs 20% more.
I wish it was 20%.
But no, yeah, you're right. It's hard for a lot of people to talk.
It's hard for us to talk, and I think that, like, I really have one job, and that's to be a translator all the time, right? It's like I'm translating what this person is saying or trying to get out of this device, or I'm translating my frickin' geek speak into whatever we can bond over. And so,
right.
Just before this, I was telling you guys I was late for the call because I had a Zoom with a guy talking about having a Zoom, but then he couldn't show up in time for the Zoom. He couldn't get it connected, and we're going to set up Zoom rooms for their conferences and stuff, the conference rooms. And as we're talking, the conversation starts out with, like, oh, how was their holiday? What and I remember he's got a kid from college, and so he's like, oh yeah, so she came back, so it was good to spend the time with the kids, and you have that, you have those little bonding conversations about whatever, and signing off, the end of the conversation, he's like, oh yeah, wait, I got one more thing to tell you. Go Hawks, because we got a big Seahawk game this weekend. So
do you track that? Let me ask you a question. We're going to go off topic for a second here, but do you track that information about your clients?
What? Oh, like who has a kid, or
like their spouses?
You mean, like, is that in my
kids?
CRM system?
Yeah.
It's in this CRM system.
He pointed to his head for anyone who's not watching the video.
We have we keep it in IT Glue.
Because it has to be. I don't, because I think it has to be a genuine and authentic conversation. It can't be. No, it can't. That's be fine.
No. I think it has to be a genuine and authentic. But I'm not great with names and faces and remembering this stuff, right? So, and Jason Womack, our keynote speaker from the first year, tried to teach me this method, and he gave me a book to read, and I got through about 4 pages before I fell asleep. Like, so we keep track of that stuff because we actually, I don't know, this is another one of those things where we talk about, like, touch points, right? If we know an employee's birthday, Lauren, our operations manager, will send them a handwritten birthday card, like on virtual computer stationery. So, like, we track all that stuff. So if somebody's getting married, if someone has a kid, we'll send them a gift. That kind of stuff.
I think that's great. That's like I said, like I think you need to be genuine. And for me, writing somebody a birthday card is not genuine. I can barely manage to get my wife one. But we do celebrate. We do celebrate. We do celebrate things like births and marriages, and births and marriages. You know, or I'll take you out for a drink after you get your divorce is final. But
depressing in Seattle.
I mean, but that is kind of, you know, within our brand. But I totally understand the recognizing people. Like, I'm really bad with names and faces, and so I try to do a better job of that. And I do try to, like, new hires capture a picture or something. Also, so I'll tell you two things. A really quick story. I ran into a guy. You guys have seen our creative text bags that we used to. Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I ran into a guy at the grocery store carrying my bag, and I couldn't remember who he was.
Oh no.
I mean, he looked familiar, but I couldn't place, like, company.
He got it from the thrift store. It was secondhand.
No, I knew him, and he, you know, he did the great thing or I did the thing where I, like, introduced my wife, and then let, you know,
let him introduce himself. But, yeah, nice.
Yeah. Anyway, but the other
takeaway.
Thing, I almost
the takeaway to that is your wife doesn't let you go to the store alone. She comes with you.
Well, I'm a senile old man. I did get lost.
And I think to because I'm bad with names and faces too, and I try, right? But and it used to be really easy, right? And I totally thought that I had it nailed, and it was so easy because we supported like 100 people. I'm like, okay, I can remember 100 people. But now we're getting it, you know, 250, 300. You know, my team I used to do everybody's onboarding. Like, when everybody started a client, it was me meeting them, right? And then it was really easy. And now, for the first time, now that we've expanded the team, so, you know, I brought on Daniel. He's my full-time colleague here on our tech team. He's doing most of these onboardings now. And now it was just a really strange thought to be like, hey, we support this person, and I have no idea who they are. I have no idea what they look like. I don't know anything about them. And this was just a really strange thing for me because we're super hands-on. And then as you grow the brand, and this has really been the big change. And again, off topic again. You said we were going off topic, Justin. I don't even know what the topic is, so maybe you can help me.
It's fine. Welcome to the ACES podcast.
The topic
and we
is
don't edit
ACES.
No, the topic is making money, because you have to know who these people are. And so back in episode 2, 3, when we had Jason Detbarn on, one of the things, I think it made it into the podcast, was when he had the Adigy party, right, because he has a very large staff now, he's got 70 people, he created basically a printed handbook so he can learn everybody's faces and their spouse's faces and stuff like that. And I even said on that episode, I'm going to steal that. And so we found this new program called Notion, and we're building a CRM in that, and we're adding all of our employee, not our employees, our clients' employees' faces. And there's a mobile app.
Nice.
So if I go to the supermarket, not that anyone lives in Wayne, New Jersey, but if I go to the supermarket and I saw somebody with a creative text bag, I can whip out my phone and look it up, and I can be like, it's that guy. But only because I'm not good with that kind of stuff. And I want to be better, and I want to be able to I want to spark joy, because I want to be able to know who that person is. I want to be able to relate to that person. I want to be able to provide them services, as opposed to me being an unknown IT person to an unknown person, because if I can keep that person happy, the company's happy, I'm making more, ergo I'm making more money, and it all snowballs down that line. Well,
and this also really plays into something that I think is really important, and that's security. Because I think that when the more we do things remotely, the less we physically interact with people, or the bigger we get. And, you know, like to AJ's point, like I haven't met everybody. I have a lot of customers that I've never met. Now, what happens when Sally calls me up and says, "Hey, Tim, this is Sally from blank company, and I need my password reset"? If I've never met Sally, I don't know Sally's voice. I don't have a way to validate her. What do we do? And
Right.
I think that, and so that's where I do think like some of this stuff gets really important, and it does get important too. So when I was, saying I don't track them in my CRM, like I don't track birthdays, I don't track this other stuff, but we do gather a photo from their website or their LinkedIn or whatever, so that I can pop up a video chat with them and see their face and go, okay, yeah, you are Sally, or I've had people hold up their ID card,
Right.
because I've never met you
that's a good
before.
idea.
But how do I
Yeah.
know that you are who you are? Like it's like the the prisoner of war or kidnapped victim newspaper thing or whatever. But yeah, like hold your video, your ID, so I know that you are Sally. Okay, cool. All right, I can absolutely help you reset that password. And
I do that.
And a
If I have
newspaper
to,
with today's date.
yeah. If I have to, if I have to text somebody,
I don't know where you get a newspaper.
if I have to text somebody with like a passcode, like a password or something like that, because we don't email passwords, that's not safe. But texting, sure. If I have to text somebody and I say, "What's your number?" I'll text you, and they send me their number. I'll text them hi. I wait for them to respond. I'll say, "It's Justin. Who's this?" Wait for them to respond, and then I'll ask him like 2 or 3 questions, just to feel more secure about the situation. Like, yeah, like if the person was really like, if the person who I'm trying to talk to was kidnapped and like they're gonna know this information. It's not like hard. Like, what company do you work for? What color is the virtual logo? Like something something that I would know that we can correlate to provide that sense of security. Going on your video chat thing though, the funniest thing. 2 quick anecdotes about remote support. One is I love having to do remote support and like trying to do things through the remote tools that sometimes don't work 100%, like Screen Connect, and you go to hit Spotlight and you try to type in like Photoshop, but accidentally it opens up Photo Booth, and all of a sudden their camera turns on and they're like, no, and they like block the camera. That's one. I love doing that when that happens. And then 2, I had a client one time. I'm remoted into their computer, and they're like, and I'm like, I don't see what the problem is, and they're like, it's right here, and I'm like, right where? And they're like, I'm pointing at it, and I'm like, I don't see your finger. I'm not actually there.
Please move the mouse for me.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, the button. I was like, oh, that button. Got it. All right.
I think there's a couple. Sorry, just to bring it back to the password reset thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Because this is something I thought about a lot about too. One, if you can, self-service password reset is great. So if you're looking at something like Azure Active Directory, some of the premium ones for your Office 365 tenant, or you're looking at something like Jump Cloud, right? If you can enable self-service password reset, that's great, because not only is it more efficient, you actually never, if you can have some kind of authenticator, that's a problem you don't have to have. And then I know Duo has a Duo for Help Desk where you can actually get somebody to do like a 2FA or like a Duo authentication to say like, yes, this is me and I have my MFA device with me.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't know how well that works in an MSP world, because you got to have a lot of, Duo is so directory driven. So I don't know how that would work in an MSP, but for anybody who's listening to this where that might apply, that might be a thing. Or alternatively, we'd provide the new password to that person's manager. So if we knew that, Sally's new, but Sally works for, I don't know, Jeff, and we've known Jeff for 10 years, hey, Sally, can I talk to Jeff? Hey, Jeff, is that really Sally? Yeah, okay, great, because I know Jeff. And just get somebody else involved in the mix.
Right.
And either provide the password to them. Those might just be,
or if we have to update someone's password, we'll put it in IT Glue, because we know that the point of contact or the champion of that client has access to IT Glue, and we'll send them the link to IT Glue, because if anyone snooped that email, they wouldn't be able to get to it without logging in.
Sure.
But yeah, I want 2-factor authentication to access me. I don't want anyone being able to, like, I'd like to talk to Justin. What's your passcode? I don't have a passcode. Tough. You can't talk to him.
I feel like
you sound like a Wizard of Oz. You need to go
codes.
through this whole journey. You got to go down the yellow brick road,
and you have to go to Atlanta, and then you get to
wizard.
talk to me. Yeah, you get to talk to me in Atlanta. All right, so Go.
Oh, sorry. Just going back to that personal connection, right? So the personal connection that we have with our customers, it makes it more than IT or technology services or Apple MSP or whatever, right? Because it's really, it is tough, and I think we all know this. It's tough to differentiate services, right? And for a lot of non-technical buyers and a lot of non-technical clients, they may have a really hard time understanding why one firm is different than another firm, or why they might need something. So the personal touch is like, it's like the killer app, right? If you can form a relationship with somebody, and if you can have a good relationship with somebody, it just feels better. Right. Because whether Tim resets the password, or Justin resets the password, or I reset a password for you, I mean, we're all in various different places in the continent, so that's, you know, we're not competing with each other.
I don't do password
You're still going to get your
resets.
Password reset. I'm resetting Tim's password all day. So
I knew there was something wrong.
Either way, you're going to get your password reset, right? But if you like Tim's personal brand of nonchalance and winery stuff while you're getting your password reset, that's great. So just quick story time before we go on to the next topic in our conversation without a topic. Feels like a Seinfeld episode. It's because Justin's here. So I recently grew the team, right? And I brought Daniel on, and Dan, after our onboarding time, he's kind of been our point person for being on site with our customers. And so that's gone from me to Dan, and that's great. The customers love him. He's a customer service warrior. I know that everybody likes Dan more than they like me, which it's joking, not joking, but he's a super nice guy.
Right.
And he does a great job. So that meant that my job, and this is by design, this is how I wanted to do things. My job was, doing the sales and marketing, running the business, building the product that is Campfire, building the partnerships, and all of this other stuff. And other than the sales and marketing piece, I spent so much more time at my desk and so much less time with people. I was completely depressed, that I stopped. I realized how much of that social interaction that kept me going throughout the day, right? Being there and seeing that the people you're helping, because it's not always easy, right? You're spending, you wake up first thing in the morning and you got tickets to come in, and there's a server on fire, and then you got 8 password resets to do when people are back from holidays, and then you got to run over here and things like that. Like it's not an easy job sometimes, right? And it was hard to keep going sometimes, especially in the depth of winter, especially when you weren't actually seeing or talking to the people that you were helping. So that was like a completely unintended consequence of growing my team. So what I've done is I've got more of that time back in my day to work with people. And that was great. And it's just how I'm wired, right? And I realized how much that drove me. And everybody's different, but I think that's a really, it's something to be cognizant about too, for anybody looking to build your team is, think about what you like in your job, right? Think about what makes you tick. Think about what keeps you going. And then don't replace yourself to do those things, right? So it's just something to think about. Anyways, just a brief tangent story time over the human connection piece.
No, I mean, it totally makes sense. Yeah.
Sorry, I'd really like to say something about this because it's something that has been top of mind for me this week. Not having anything to do with this call, but I had actually thought about saying something at the beginning of the call when we came on. I was going to say something, but I just want to say it. This job is hard, and we all have all kinds of parts and stuff in it that we struggle with, and I think we talked about it before. We don't do a great job of self-care. We don't take care of ourselves very well. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really important. I was listening to something else somewhere else, and they talked about, like fighting with depression or things like that. And that, we all Slack and we chat each other and we talk to each other all the time, but it's not the same as picking up the phone and talking to somebody. And so I'm going to change all my profiles, and I'm just going to say it right here because I know that we only have 53 listeners, so I'm not too worried about it. But while you're driving your car, pull out your pen and your paper, 206-409-5244. Okay, that's my number. You can call me anytime. Anybody. There's no reason to. I'm not a special person in anything. I don't have any special talents. I'm not going to solve your problems, but I'm a voice and someone you can talk to. And, for a lot of people, I'm in a different time zone. And so it just works out well to talk to me.
This is the problem with you being in a different time zone, though. I'll tell you this much, right? Because you and I, my computer's telling me we're running out of space. No, here's the problem with you being in a different time zone. I talk to you now, since we started the podcast, I've talked to you almost like every day, right? But from 9 when I get to my desk until like 11:30 when you show up online, I feel a little lonely. I do. Sorry, I do. It's okay.
Justin, you can always reach out to me. I'm not quite as far as Tim. I'm only an hour back.
Oh, that's good. We should do a thing. I mean, look, I feel like everybody just got a digital hug from Tim.
I hope so. I really do hope so. And I mean it, and it's sincere. And I will pick up the phone. I do have my phone set to not pick up or not ring if I don't know the number. So you might want to text me first, and then I'll. But
or just Slack and just say I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do that. All right, we're gonna wrap this up. AJ, one last question for you before my computer runs out of hard drive space. I gotta work on that. What are you looking forward to for 2020? Not necessarily ACES, but like what are you looking forward to in 2020 that you're gonna do with your business?
So yeah, great question. I've kind of bucked the New Year's resolution trend, and this is only year 2 of my new thing that I'm doing, but I was talking about this in Slack the other day, but I'm kind of going on these themes, right? And last year was simplify. That was the theme. I had so much stuff going on in life in every different direction, and I felt like I was constantly just moving things from place to place and being busy without being productive and all these other things, just trying to simplify.
Right.
So 2020, after simplification, 2020 is the year of deepening. So deepening relationships, deeper expertise, just trying to double down on the things that we're doing already. So that's kind of my theme for the year.
That's awesome.
So part of that is, doing a better job at developing the relationships and friendships of the people that I, already know, right? With our clients, or, doing more, asking better questions and really deepening those relationships, right? Deepening expertise. There's so much happening in the Apple IT space that I know has been the source of much grief for a lot of us over the past, we'll call it 6 months, especially, but just deepening our expertise in those things so we can do better. So that's the theme for this year. I'm looking forward to ACES. I've never been to Atlanta before, so looking forward to, I don't know, whatever. All I know about Atlanta is whatever Ludacris tells me. So
you're talking about themes. I don't know why. My theme for this year is risotto. That's what I thought about. I'll make my theme risotto. Tim, you forget that we're doing. Tim forgets that we're doing video and gets up in the middle. I think I
because
pick up a book.
I wanted to grab this because
Apple device management.
This is a nice ACES plug.
The new Charles Edge Rich
announcement.
Trout. Yeah, right. The new the Charles Edge Rich Trouton book, Apple Device Management. And I think I see where you're going with this, is that we just announced 3 of our speakers that are going to be at ACES Conf this coming year. Rich Wingfield, Matt Wosterhoff, and Charles Edge. His is a lot easier. I'm going to be in Atlanta for May 19th and the 20th, 2020 for ACES Conf. It's going to be awesome. All right, well, we're going to sign off here. Tim never has anything to say at the end, but let's ask him anyway. Tim, you got anything you want to say to the audience before we leave?
Oh, yeah, wait, I have big news.
Seriously?
Yeah. No, I have big news, and this is exciting.
Okay,
Are you
go
ready
for
for
it.
big, exciting news?
Yeah.
So you know that I'm a multi-generational father, right?
Yes.
I'm a multi-generational dad.
Yes.
My oldest son is getting married.
Mazel tov!
Woohoo!
That's Hebrew for congratulations.
I think he and AJ are the same age, by the way.
12?
Congratulations. Come
that's
on.
not true.
Sorry.
No,
AJ.
that's not true.
I haven't been 12
No, that's not
for
true.
years.
That's not true. Anyway, thank you guys. Yeah, so
That's awesome.
I had something to say, and if my mom's listening to this podcast, as
Now
one of
you
the
know.
listeners. Now you know.
Now she knows. My mom's going to write from the desk of Justin Escar, and Tim's son is getting married. None of her friends are going to know who it is. All right. Well, my thanks to AJ for being here from Canada. Can't wait to see you in Atlanta. As always, from Tim and I, thanks so much for listening to ACES Conference, the podcast. Sign up for your tickets today at acesconf.com, and we'll see you in Atlanta. Bye, everyone.